Good morning. It's just after 5:30 on Monday the 3rd of June and I'm heading into the sun, walking out of Tilbury and walking towards Basildon. You might wonder why am I here at this time in the morning? Well, quite simply, it got so hot yesterday, even though I had a day off and I was in the van. It was like being in an oven. It's very uncomfortable, and it looks as if, thank you, it looks as if today is going to be even hotter, and it's another one of those fairly mundane walks, I would suggest, that there's not going to be a great deal of interest. I'm going to make the best as I possibly can of it. I'm afraid it's going to be like this for a few days, and but my plan is to walk to Basildon. I went up to Basildon yesterday for a bit of a recce in the van to have a look to see, first of all, the parking situation, and I'm really glad I did that because there was absolutely nowhere to park, and all of the car parks in Basildon had what I call the bar, like the goal. You know, you can't get anything over 6'6" under the bars, and that was on every single car park. Certainly in the centre it was, and it certainly didn't look the kind of place that I wanted to be in, to be honest with you. It was like almost trying to find somewhere to park in the middle of Milton Keynes, and I didn't fancy that at all. And so what I've done is I've thought it out quite well. I'm going to walk from now to Basildon, which I reckon is maybe 12-13 miles, something like that, which should take me somewhere around 3 or 4 hours, and then get the train from Basildon back to Tilbury, where I've left the van right outside the station, and then drive to Southend. Now, there's two reasons of wanting to drive to Southend rather than stay in Basildon. I don't want to be anywhere near the place, not that I've got anything against it, but it just doesn't suit me. And then all I need to do tomorrow is to get a train from Southend back into Basildon and then walk back to Southend. Interestingly, a friend, Steve, who's married to a woman called Sharon, they're from Essex originally, and they are the people that actually bought our house when we lived in Bulgaria. Still very happy there, and they're very happy with the house, and they're also relatives to other people in the village of Throuugh in Bulgaria, and this is also Lou and Claire's stomping ground. This is Essex. Been looking forward to coming here, and I'm not going to say any Essex jokes like most people do, but I think Essex is going to be a little bit of a problem to me in that I'm not going to see much of the coast at all certainly until I get to Southend, and so it's going to be a lot of road walking, and I know it's boring for me, and it's boring for you probably watching it, and but there's nothing I can do about it. The sun is shining brightly, as you can see. It's going to be just a complete clear sky all over again today, and I would imagine the temperatures are going to get up again to something like the late 20s like they did yesterday, which is another really good reason to get this walk done and get back to Tilbury. And so that's it. I've had a nice restful weekend, really. Well, I walked on Saturday, but yesterday I decided, nothing wrong with me, but I thought, right, I'm going to have a day off. I've just walked 3 days on the trot. I don't want to stress my ankle, even though I've got absolutely no worries whatsoever about my ankle. It's doing fine, and I just fancied a rest. Got a lot of updating done yesterday on the computer, loads of information saved and backed up and all the rest of it. Very pleased with what I got done yesterday, and I'm in a great mood. I had a really nice chat with Trish last night. She's fine. And now that I think things are settling down with her, she's making a really nice recovery, and that's great. So you won't be hearing quite so much about her now that all the business that she's been through has settled down, and she's all she needs is time, and she's getting that, and she's fine. So it's only another couple of weeks before Ralph's back with me, and if he was here, he would say, "Here we go." Now, just before I leave that subject, for all of you new people who have joined me, if you're wondering who Ralph is, he's a very, very nice man from Maesteg in South Wales, and he's coming up to walk with me on the 17th of June, and he's bringing his friend with him, Nibbles, who I've met in Maesteg, and I'm looking forward to that. I think we're going to have some fun, and it'll be really nice to have some company to walk with. So, here we go. It's about 6:45 now, and so I've been walking for about an hour, and this has turned out to be quite a nice walk actually. Certainly away from the traffic and all that. That really, when I walked the A2 the other day, it was really hard work, sort of listening to the constant noise of the traffic. Whereas out here, I've got the place to myself, there's nothing. It's all farm tracks, and it's well defined on the map. and I'm just heading north generally. I'm just keeping the sun on my right, not using my sort of iPhone very often to check it out. It's just almost like automatic. Just a pity I can't show you the number of rabbits that are running around here. They're so quick, they move so quick, you can't get a chance to video them, you can't get near them. It's still a bit cool. I mean, it's only, let's say, 7:15, so it's only early yet. I'm quite sure by the time I get to Basildon, which I don't know, might take me to about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock even. I'm not even entirely sure, but I'm sure there'll be some strength in the sun by then. But it's a beautiful morning, and there's not a breath of wind. It's a real pleasure being out on it here today. I mean, I know it's a coastal path walk, and I might have mentioned this before. If you look on the map of Essex and the amount of coastal path that's available between Tilbury and Southend, there's absolutely none until you actually get to Southend. And even when you walk from Southend and continue through to Felixstowe, you've got to double back to move on to the next stage, because there's just absolutely nothing after Felixstowe apart from several sort of inlets and all that kind of thing, which you just need to go maybe 5-10 miles inland to walk around. So that's the problem I've got here, where I'm just doing the miles. I'm just ticking off the miles, and until I get probably up into Suffolk and Norfolk, it's going to be like this for quite a long while, and I hope that doesn't put you off watching these films. I noticed this morning that yesterday's film got off to a bit of a slow start, but then again it was the weekend, and I'm sure you'll all catch up eventually. But as I say, this is great, and I'm enjoying it. And I was just walking past, and I just couldn't resist a beautiful big breakfast, and it really was fantastic. Thank you. It's like an oasis, having walked all the way up from Tillbury to find this.
Glad you enjoyed it.
It's
Thank you.
Nice busy little place you've got here then, Terry.
It is, yeah. So everyone says how much they enjoy it, what a nice atmosphere and brilliant food.
Yes.
So
that's great.
We aim to please.
And where are we now? Stamfordley Hope?
We're in Stamfordley Hope in Essex.
How far is it in terms of miles to Basildon from here then, would you say? About maybe 4 or 5 miles, something like that?
Yeah, about five miles.
Because I'm doing so well, it's only just gone 8 o'clock. I'm considering, I was going to get a train back from back to Tilbury, but I might walk on to Southend because that's not that much further, is it?
It's not. And it's a beautiful day, so...
Well, exactly. That's why I set off early this morning, because it was really hot yesterday.
Yeah.
I've got my camper van in Tilbury now, and it was like being in an oven yesterday. It was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, so I've got options. But anyway, look, it's been a real pleasure meeting you. And,
lovely to meet you too, and it's a great cause, and we will be donating 100%.
Thank you very much.
Jim's Coastal Path Walk.
Thank you very much indeed.
No worries.
That was really lovely,
Lovely
Terry.
to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much indeed.
Take care, good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Your name is?
I'm Caroline.
Caroline.
I'm Emma.
And Emma. And you're out on a little bit
We're
of
on
a
a little
walk today.
walk. She's trying to kill me.
We're going on holiday soon, so we're getting
Our motor bodies on.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
Well,
And
well
how-
done to you, mate.
How was it?
Well
Oh, well,
done.
thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
you keep it up. Yeah.
Yes. So this is your first real walk then?
Yeah, for about 15 years.
So how are you doing with it?
So that's why I've got the 80s throwback flares on.
Oh, the
And the shoes.
Nothing wrong with that, love.
Right.
No, well, the best of luck to you.
Thank you. Keep it up.
Cheers now. It's 10:47 now and I'm at Basildon station waiting for a train to take me back to Tilbury dock. I very nearly caught the last train by mistake because I was told to be on this platform 2 to get the train, and it was heading for Shoeburyness, which is the opposite direction. So I went back to the ticket office and they said, oh well, you should have got on that train and got off at the first stop and then changed, but they didn't tell me that in the first place, so that's put me back 20 minutes, which isn't a great deal, but they're not very good at giving out the proper information. It means then, when I'm getting the later train now, it means I've got to wait for another half an hour at least, which means I'm going to completely waste an hour. I'd have been much better getting a bus, but I thought I'd get a train because it's going to drop me off at Tilbury station. But it's been a great walk. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been lovely walking through those woods and the park areas and the country park areas. Much different to what I expected. And a fantastic walk this time in the morning. It was nice and cool. The sun's just getting some strength in it now. And I've finished for the day. I've just walked about 11 miles, which is pretty good. And now my intention is to go back and pick up the van from Tilbury and drive over to Southend. And the reason for that is, as I may have explained earlier, all it means I need to do tomorrow is park the van up in Southend, get on the train back here to Basildon and then walk back, and that will be another sort of 12-mile walk. So I think you can safely say I'm running in normal, full strength walking attitude, get the job done. You know, I'm feeling really great. I'm feeling really buoyed up and really excited that I'm actually on the move, and with every step I'm taking I'm heading to Grimsby. So you can imagine I'm quite pleased. It's about 4 o'clock now, and as you can see I've arrived safely here in Southend after a bit of a marathon day actually, which started around about sort of 5 o'clock this morning when I set off on my walk to Basildon, which is like the biggest place in Essex. I caught a train back again to where I started at Tilbury, and then I've driven the van over here to Southend, and there are several reasons. It sounds a bit complicated this, but I'll try and explain. And by the way, I'm sorry I can't do anything about the glare on my glasses. I've tried putting the camera in lots of different positions. It's just where the brightness is coming from, because I'm actually tucked away in a very private place. It's absolutely fantastic for me. This is a wonderful situation, which was brought about by my friend Steve and his partner Sharon, who they actually bought the house from Trish and I when we lived in Bulgaria at throuugh, which is near Vidin, on the banks of the River Danube. They're still there, they're very happy. They were happy with the house from they liked the house before they even moved in, and that's the reason they bought it. And we was very, very pleased to sell it to people they knew, and they're loving it, they're looking after it, and it's great. It means a lot to us, because we did put a lot of work into it, and you know, we're very pleased that somebody is enjoying it. Now Steve has got a daughter called Sammy. She lives in Basildon, but she's got a nursery here in Southend, and she said I can park the van around the back of the place. It's completely out of view. It's quite a big car park where you can get 3 or 4 cars, so I'm not in the way of anybody. And this is absolutely perfect for me. It just takes away all my problems of shuffling around trying to find somewhere to stay for a night or all the rest of it. And it's great. It's absolutely a great situation for me, because tomorrow I've got to get a train back again to Basildon and then walk from there back to here. But I need to walk back via a place called Leigh-on-Sea, which is to the east of Southend, and I'll come in on the beach and walk down to the pier, which is only about a mile from where I'm actually sitting now, so that will complete that day's walk. So I'm thinking right now, well, it's only, what, 4:15. I've still got some energy, even though I've walked today. So what I'm going to do is walk back into the centre and walk along the west, heading sort of northwest along as far as a place called Shoeburyness, which I reckon is going to be about maybe a 4 or 5 mile walk, and I should quite easily be able to get a bus back to here and settle down for the night. But then after tomorrow, when I've done that, I'm going to end up back in this same situation again, in exactly the same place, where I'm going to have to then walk to Chelmsford. If you look on a map, there's nowhere west of here. Once you get to Shoeburyness, you've just got to turn round and come back and go inland, because there's lots of estuaries that come in to the west of Southend, and I need to then go back to Chelmsford, and from there I will then be heading east. So I hope you can understand all that. I know some of you people who like to study what I do logistically and everything, it's taken a little bit of thinking out this, and this is by far the easiest way, and when I say the cheapest way, whether I get a bus or a train I'm not sure, but getting from A to B is going to be made so much easier.